I start recording this now. For everybody that's coming onto Zoom, this particular pilot will be recorded for quality purposes. No one outside of our little community, will be privy to anything. But this is a no judgment zone. Chance and I are doing a candid chance of rainstorm question and answer segment today. Just a casual conversation about any questions that like we might have for each other or we might have for you all about like how we tie in spirituality into our lives, how we might have gotten hurt by the church, different scenarios like that. Chance and I are always about keeping it raw and cut and transparent. And she and I'm the CEO and one founder, and she's the COO and co-founder of Focus Life. She is my co-pilot and co-host of A Chance of Rain. I'll let her tell, her stuff that she's been working on and going through. You ain't gotta do the side eye. Dave baby gave me a side eye, like, oh, I ain't telling nothing. But for the people that's on A Chance of Rain and haven't seen just the random rainstorms, like I said, she has her own life. She has her own things that God has been working with her on. Like I said, I'll let her tell that part. Did you finish doing your stuff? Is it gonna let you sign in?
Oh, I ain't gonna sign on. I don't want it to have. I'll do this.
Well, how you gonna get in on the meeting? How we gonna be on the camera at the same time? You gonna just get on the chance?
Oh, I thought we was just gonna. Okay, I see. I was just gonna.
I mean, you want me to angle it? If it's up to you. Yeah. Okay, I'll angle it like that then. Okay, hold on, y'all. Let me maneuver this big body out of here. And see how we can get it for Shim Shures to be on there. Man, yo, just your arm on there. Just up. She tricked. My co-pilot is colorful and special and unique and debonair. So, I feel like I don't know if people are even going to even use the Zoom platform, but it's out there for them. If not, they can just come into the room. So far, we have my niece going in and out, looks like, down there. And,
man, that pimple is very loud. I'm big and I'm proud.
Put some earwax on
it. Earwax?
Or toothpaste. No, I'm serious. It'll make it.
You want me to dig in my ear?
It's your ear. You know that your body is.
I wouldn't put my earwax on my forehead. It belongs in my ear, not my forehead.
Just trying to help. I'm just trying to help out. But if you all look on Chance's page, the Shantara Ardoin page, or the I don't know how this is supposed to work though. Like I don't know how we supposed to get the people. How am I supposed to know when they're coming in?
On what, Zoom?
I think I put for it to make a noise. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, like I was saying, if you all look on the Shantara Arden page or Chance's regular page, I think I put it on. No. I think I put it on Focus Life page as well. The call into the meeting number to be on the Zoom. You do not have to come on camera if you do not want to. Everybody is not camera what's the word? Camera. It's the word? Not ready, but what's the word? Some people are camera shy, or they just don't do the camera, or they just right now they feeling the quarantine blues or whatever, so they not really even want to be on camera right now. And that's you have every right. You can come on and just have your voice and ask your question. You can comment below and ask your question. Whatever you feel like you might want to do, the choice is yours. But let me see. I guess I can go first because I think Chance is getting her life over here to decide what route she wants to take. Um, should we do like an interview? Interview?
I was trying to see what he was going through a thing. I'm back. What happened? Keep back to the night.
Oh Lord Jesus, help us, Holy
Now, what-
Ghost, Father, in the name of Jesus. This is our first, like, real, true start out the starting gate. You know, your daughters are learning as we go. We are not perfect. We do not have it all together. So please allow your anointing to increase in us and we decrease while we go on this journey today and have this conversation with whoever we have the conversation with, because you know we silly, we like to play, we like to keep it real. What you see is what you get, Father God. So have your way. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, so listen. Like I said, we've been trying to figure out how to get us on the same place at the same time. So some people will be able to see the Zoom playback, and some people will be on the live. Again, I say you can use. Tess, you should look on your page and see. Oh, well, you're using it for the music. Look on your page and see if somebody's asking you questions.
On my Facebook page?
Yeah, because I have
I can do that.
on your Facebook page. You should be able to see where I put the call in number on in the password and stuff, and you can ask us questions on here on the Chance of Rain page if you are privy to it, or you can ask us questions on our regular pages, or you can come onto Zoom if you want to come onto Zoom and you don't have to get on camera and ask questions. It's really up to you. So I'm gonna start off by asking my co-host some questions. Y'all seen that look on Zoom? That right there. Y'all seen that? That baby she is not. She don't be want. She ain't here for it. So I'm gonna ask her some questions and see what you. No,
I don't want to.
no. Go scroll up. I didn't give you the. I didn't tag you into the pink thing. Oh shucks. Rico, come get on the. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Let me ask. Let me call for him.
This?
No, you were supposed to have.
Oh, it might be in my
You were supposed to have the number for the Zoom and all that. Shoot. Yeah, girl, I'm trying to do something.
No, here we go right here.
That so yeah, you need to add it to your page so that people can ask their questions that they might want to ask on your yeah. Now you could turn the live on and see if you see the questions that they ain't gonna come up on here, but you say you ain't want to mess it up. But anywho, so I need to turn this to where you could be on there. Like that.
Why you gotta be cutting the grass right
This is real life. This ain't scripted. This is not a scripted blog. We have in real time and real life and all that good stuff. I think I should take my phone down like that so I don't get it. Trying to think of what I want to ask first. Okay, so for people that don't know you, co-host, or people from your hometown, um, My co-host is not originally from the H. She is not originally from Tejas. She is originally from Tejas. That's how you say Texas in Espanol. Anyway.
So the X sound like an H? Like the J, like the Jesus?
Yes, it's Tejas in Espanol. Okay, so anyway, my co-host is not from here. She is originally from Missouri. Yeah. So I want to ask you, when would you say, for those that don't know your story, when would you say was your first encounter with spirituality? Like, how did your spiritual journey start? Mm-hmm. Where did you get your spiritual foundation from?
I don't even know. Like, I don't know, because growing up, I practiced Catholicism. So
Hold up. What's Catholicism?
Catholic.
Ooh, they actually have a word for it. Shut your mouth and shoot me. All the years I went with my sister to the St. Martin de Porres, the Bar
That's the
Station.
name of my church.
Yeah.
Back home.
St. Martin de Porres in Bar Station off of 2100. I ain't never in Christendom knew that it was, what you said it's called? Catholicism. Yes. So
it was a little different for me because my father was Catholic and my mother was some Baptist, one of them, one of them people. All I know is it was a difference. It was
sorry, like, y'all don't mind me because it's just the way she said.
One of them.
She was something.
One of them. Okay. And I went to church with both my parents, but my daddy's church was boring, and I got tired of standing and kneeling and sitting, and I hated the music, and it just sounded like they was going, ooh.
Hate is a strong word.
I hated the music. Okay. I strongly disliked the music.
No, you was right for saying hate. I mean, but you know,
it sounded like opera, and I was like, I didn't even half the time know what they were saying. So then, when I went to my mama's church, I would get in trouble all the time. Her church was crunk though. The music was live, but they was doing stuff that I wasn't accustomed to seeing, and they would be like running up and down.
So maybe you went to Kojic Church where it's sanctified.
I don't know.
Filled with the Holy Ghost.
All I know is that they were speaking in tongues. I didn't know what that was.
You could only wear dresses?
I don't know. I could only wear dresses anyway because I was a girl.
But I'm saying all the women had on.
I don't know because I only wore dress to Catholic.
But I'm saying when you went to church at your mom's church, did any of the women have on pants?
I don't remember that. You know how long ago that was?
I mean, I understand. I was just asking because
I can't remember that.
Like for Kojic Church, you back then you weren't allowed to wear pants. You really wore dresses. Like even to work, you were supposed to wear dresses.
But they was doing the most, and I would get in trouble at my mama's church because I would be laughing at people. I just went to sleep. I didn't really like church at all. And if I could avoid not going, I wasn't gonna go. That was pretty much my thing. But growing up, I didn't have a choice. Like we had to go to church on Easter. We had to go to church. You know, like
you was. Were you for sure a CME Christian?
Christmas,
Mother's Day, and Easter
all the time.
Okay.
But when I would be with my father's family, my dad's mother, my grandma, made me go to church. You was at grandma's house, you was going to church. She had us sitting around, we had to say the rosary, Like,
Yeah,
she
went to
didn't.
catechism and all that.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I had to do my first Holy Communion, all that. Now that was fun. I still remember the songs and everything. That was great.
Because you was a kid, it was like you.
No, because we went to a. This time. We went to a Black Catholic church, and that was in a jam, and they music was hitting, and the song was like, what hit? But I didn't like church because it was always something that just separated me because I was black, and they would be like, "How are you black and Catholic?" So I didn't really do the whole church religion thing.
That's weird.
Until
See, I never experienced that because my sisters, like Shawanda's side of the family, was pretty much all Catholic, and it was all African American people in there. Maybe because we was light skinned, like you had a lot of light skinned people in there, good hair. So maybe that's why. I don't know, but
they would be like, I just got tired of being teased about my religion, and they would say stuff like, I pray to statues, and it was just always something. So religion to me wasn't something that I was really ever really interested in.
mm-hmm.
Like, I knew there was a God, all of that. It just wasn't my thing. Like, I didn't connect. That wasn't my thing.
How long would you say you were like that? Like, how long would you say that it took you to get to a point to where you were like at least starting to get comfortable with your spirituality? Like, how long between childhood to
That ain't even a song, and I don't even know how they got on. I don't even know how she got on there. Hold on, did you see
it's
how I got
okay,
on
it's
quick?
okay, it's okay. It don't have to be a
Um,
religious song. You have candid conversations. I mean,
I know.
your
But
music
that
gonna
one,
be good.
I know, but that one took me out my.
Oh, you took you off your feng
Yeah,
shui.
because
Okay,
I was gonna get the. Yeah, don't worry about
took her
it.
out her feng shui.
What was I
Oh, let me get my hand.
Oh, you asked me about how did I didn't.
I would say I asked you how long do you think it took you to get to where you were first kind of trying to get comfortable in your spirituality, like where you kind of wanted to know about.
I was an adult. I was married and I was an adult, so about 2001.
So it took you to get to adulthood to where you could actually say, okay, Chance is now kind of comfortable in wanting to see about my spirituality and get my spirituality in check. Was it like that, or was it just I'm an adult now, so I can pick and choose what feels good to me?
It was a combination of the two because I quit believing in God.
When you say you quit believing in God, like an atheist don't believe, or like lost faith, like you still believe that there's a creator, but what did he ever do for me lately?
I wouldn't necessarily say I was like an atheist.
Okay.
Like I didn't believe. Okay, wait, pause. Rewind.
Hey, break it down. I mean,
Not like I didn't believe. Well, kind of. Okay, I don't know. Kind of, sort of. I felt like there couldn't have been a God because if it was, I thought he was a cruel individual. Because how could he let the things that happened to me happen? So I stopped believing in God. And I was always thought that God was like a man entity. So I didn't like anything male at that moment in my life. So I was like, oh, God is a man? Yeah, that's why. That's why none of this makes sense. That's why this is retarded because that's how I felt. Like they are retarded.
Okay, let me ask you this. So I know, but for our viewers, but I want to make sure I know because I've had a moment that pretty much parallels that, and I know for a fact, because conversations that we have sisters, kind of like that same reason. Like, so would you say you felt like you put your faith down because of the transactions that happened to you that should never have happened to children of
I
any
didn't
shape?
understand how it could be a God that they explained to me was so mighty, so powerful, so loving, so
To
All
protect
these
her and all
things
that.
that
Yeah.
they tell you God is, how could He be all of these things but not for me
Okay.
at that moment in my life? Like if He's all knowing, He's everywhere, He can do all these things.
Yeah.
Why did He not protect me from being raped? Like, why did He let someone come and rape me and take away my ability to bear children? Something that I felt
Yeah.
like they couldn't ever give me back. Like
Yeah.
they took something. Oh my God, do not cry. Don't.
No, if you
No,
cry, cry.
I don't want to cry.
It's
That's
not
what
about what you want. This is not about us. It's about God getting the glory.
I don't.
See.
Okay.
You
So,
see, y'all, this is why I wanted y'all to be able to see her and hear her and experience her like I do, because she and I, it is so mind blowing to me how parallel our lives are, how parallel her personality is different from mine, but kind of the same at the same time. Like, because I have issues with trying to show my emotions, and I think a lot of hers came from just her upbringing, and she can correct me or and whatever if I'm wrong, but her being in the military probably helped with, like the way she is about her emotions. But I never been in the military. You know what I'm saying? So I think me not wanting to show my emotions came from being raised by a father a lot of my life, and me feeling like nobody cared about me crying anyway. Like crying never helped me. Kind of like how Chan said she felt about God and how she let her put her. I like to say put my faith down. Like I lost some faith in God for some of the same reasons she did. So, however, I would say I put faith down in Jesus, but I always knew that God was there, because I felt like because God created Jesus, because I'm a traditional Baptist church girl who is a second generation preacher's grandkid. So, and a first generation preacher's niece on both sides of the family. So, um, church just was what it was. It was like a staple in my household. It was you. If I don't care if you go and spend the night with your friends, but you better be at somebody's church the Sunday morning. Like you can do whatever you feel like you need to do, but you need to be at church, especially if you're gonna stay in this house. And yeah, like I have vacation Bible school, Sunday school. My family pretty much built our family church in Baytown, so we was at church pretty much Sunday to Sunday in the beginning. But I agree with what how you felt about that. I understand that, and I think a lot of people feel like that that takes them away from God's grace, but there's nothing that can truly separate you from God. God is not this horrible person. Um, for me, this is how I see it right now today. Like it took me a while still to get to this point. I now understand that God allowed me to go through those type of transactions and experiences so that, like, if Chance ever needed to talk to me about something, I can talk to her about it, and I can understand where she's coming from, and I can understand that pain. And I can kind of understand what scripture or what prayer or how it's, what I'm saying? Like I can know how to love on her or support her or hear her out and not be one to try to judge her. Like, nah, you was nasty. That's why that happened to you. Or you was fast. That's why that happened to you. No, that's not true. Um, what's another question I was gonna ask, but I forgot it now. That was good though. So y'all don't understand. Like Chance, God has brought Chance so far. She has grown up so beautifully, like in front of my eyes. It's amazing just how she is. She's even able to keep me in check on some things. And for y'all that know me, know it's really hard for anybody to keep me in check, but other than God Himself and Jesus. But yeah, she can get on my level. So let me see I'm gonna ask you one more question. What's something now, since you're almost a year in, well, I'm gonna tell her story for her. How about that? Chance is soon to be a year into the Christian family, newly reconnected. She went in the local grave for Father's Day weekend, 2019. So she's almost a year old, little baby. I love that song. Anyway, what is something that I'm gonna ask a two-part question. First part is, what's one of the biggest lessons that you learned throughout this year when it comes to your spirituality and regular life? You know, like how they intertwine, or if they intertwine, or if they just stay parallel to each other. That's the first part. Second part would be, what is something that you're still yearning to get or learn about or experience in your new life?
So the first part, I would say what I learned is that I'll assume that like getting saved and living the Christian life was easier
Hmm.
from
That's not any different.
because I think like most people assume that if you're saved or you're a Christian or whatever they want phrase they use, that you're perfect. Or that you don't have feelings, you don't have emotions, you don't have flaws, you don't like nothing bothers you, and you're judged more harshly. So it's like where I could just be my regular self and whatever that may be on whatever day that is, I was not really judged for who I was. I was just me. Now it's like, yeah, she thinks she's better than everybody else. She thinks she knows everything. She thinks she, and if you do something that a person doesn't deem Christian, it's like a generalized thing that we are all alike, or that's not godly. That like we're not perfect people.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't perfect before. I'm not perfect now. I'm not ever gonna be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't try to be. I don't claim to be. Um, my goal is to just be a better version of myself today than I was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I ask God to show me the things about me. I want to know what my ugly parts are because I want him to take them away and then I can see him transform me. So like when you asked my friend today and you was like, what is something about me that she could tell has changed since I dedicated my life to God? And
Mm-hmm.
she said my attitude, my
She said
power,
your fuse
my
is.
fuse ain't as short. It's a little longer.
I could agree with that. I totally got that was the first thing that I noticed. You don't curse as much when people cut you off in the highway. You don't talk as much noise. You know, your face is different. Your demeanor is different. You're not so just like pressed down, shaken together. You know, yeah. I agree with that.
I'm telling you, like it takes
I agree.
constant effort and work. I could be in the car 2.5 seconds and I could be to call somebody everything but a child of God. So I have to work on it. Like
Yeah.
so for me, it's learning myself, the things about myself that are not so, and it's exciting to just see uh, how I change. Um, so I don't take myself so seriously. I just allow myself to be human, and I wish that um, people would understand that we're not perfect and would be just a little less judgmental. That would be great. Um, but as far as the second part was, you asked me what would I like to, what have I not experienced?
Yeah, like what's something that you still want?
I would say my what I've been praying for. I don't know. I'm kind of a little bit scared, but I have been praying for the last year that God lets me experience the Holy Ghost, that I can do that, and I have not done it, but that's my.
We could try to get you to speak in tongues tonight. If that's you just gotta want it. You gotta tell God you want it, and you gotta be willing to. You know, babies when they first start making some noise, like they're talking, they're cooing. It's not gonna come out fluent. It's not gonna be just like.
So when I back in 2001, 2-ish, when I was actively in church, uh, I prayed about that. I have one word or phrase or whatever it is that I still remember to this day that I heard. I don't know what it means. I don't know. I've never forgotten it. I know exactly what it is, but it's only I don't know if it's a word.
That's probably how you go on. That's the one word that you have that you've been given. It's probably how you're gonna open up your floodgates of the anointing to come to you. While you're gonna be praying like, Lord, thank you, Hallelujah, glory to your name. You know, I honor you. I praise you. I worship you because you are El Shaddai. You are Elohim. You're Jehovah Sikkenu. You know, that's when while you're gonna be doing that, and the more you start feeling like the chills or however you feel the anointing coming onto you, then that's when you say, okay, God, I want you to, you know, fill me with the anointing, fill me with the Holy Ghost power, and then you have to start saying, however it feels like, you just start like letting the Spirit speak. It is gonna sound like some mumbles, or you could start off just saying that word over and over again until the anointing takes you over.
That one hasn't worked yet.
And it's gonna feel like you want to be like, no, I don't want to say that. That don't sound right, But you're gonna have to like get out of yourself and just let your spirit take over your body.
I would just say that would probably be the only thing that I feel like I have not experienced or that I want to experience. Everything outside of that, I feel like for the most part, everything that I've asked God for, He's done.
Do you still feel? This is my last question. Those two supposed to be my last, but this just came into my spirit.
I know what you're gonna say.
What I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna tell you if I'm right. No, see, I know what I'm gonna say.
You're gonna say that when you go to church, do I still feel like?
Yeah. Do you still feel? Do you
I know you should ask me that.
Do you still feel like what they doing? Why do they gotta do all that? I ain't doing that.
I don't feel like.
I think you did. I think you started feeling like that night when we went, and I bought the Jesus ingredient shirt. And I had that, and you went to the front. I was like, she goes to the front. Oh, man, girl, get your life. Anyway, okay.
I don't feel like that anymore, but I used to feel like that. I know you talking about. That was like one of the biggest things, that was preventing me from even wanting to go to church.
That song could be a gospel song.
I know that. Yes. Ooh.
Like you talking to God Himself. Like if I fall for this,
that's what I think when
spirituality thing, yes. And I put my all into it. You said you would never leave me nor forsake me. Now if I fall for this, okie doke now. Yeah, that's what
I think of this song as like me singing a love song.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Now look now.
Look now.
I said I was gonna
look now, Jehovah.
Look now. I said I was gonna do this now. Listen.
Yeah. Okay, so your turn. You want to ask some questions? Like, do you have some things that you've been wanting to ask me when it comes down to things that we never talked about or that we might talk about that you want the people that, because you watched pretty much all of the random rainstorms I've done, haven't you?
A majority. Let me see.
She know all my business, and y'all. So ain't no telling what kind of tomfoolery she about to come with. What type
Not
of
tomfoolery.
shenanigans she's about to bring out the woodwork to. So, but it's all good. We are transparent females that come from transparent church, and we hot daughters of the king.
I think because we were on the subject earlier, I want to know how does or how did or does your trauma that you experienced as far as the sexual abuse, how at what age were you?
Which time? Fuck, I'm sorry.
Okay, the first time.
Uh, the first situation happened when I was 7, and it went all the way till I was 9 with the same person.
So you were way younger than that. I asked this question because I'm thinking of a situation that happened with myself that I didn't even put the pieces together with until I was grown, like last year. Do you think that what happened to you with the sexual abuse played a part in you having a same sex relationship? And if so, why or why not?
Oh, that was a good question.
I asked this question because it's something that um, I feel that we are partially judged because, and I feel like when people don't really know where you've been, it's kind of hard for them sometimes to understand where you're at and where you're going, and they kind of just be like, yeah, you this, you that. They really, it's so judgmental. Like I said, it's judgmental if you're not saved because people say it's your loss, and if you're saved, then you're goody two shoes. You know what I'm saying? So I say, like, I really think it's important for people to know where we came from when we had that discussion. And that's why you did your part for your testimony. I have not done mine yet, but I want to know, do you think that had any impact on you?
if I have to be real honest, um, the reason why I became a participant of, a bisexual relationship or a same sex relationship was partly because of, yeah, the sexual trauma and everything like that, because um it turned into a generational type thing. It actually, to me, it turned into a domino effect. But to be really honest, and if my mother's watching, I apologize if this hurts your feelings, but I just got to be honest and transparent about things. But I really believe that because I was trying so hard to get my mother's, what I felt like needed to be my mother's type of approval, or I was always looking for that part of my mother that I was missing. Now, don't get me wrong, I had, when it came down to the structure and laying my life's foundation, I had the bomb.com mom. Like I couldn't understand what your to hear the story of you and your mother's history and to know where y'all are now makes me look at my situation with my mother like, girl, that's nothing, But you know what I'm saying is, it's true that I didn't have that part of my story when it comes down to my mother, but I had this disconnect that I feel like you and I kind of have in common. Even though it came in different type of packages, I still had this disconnect when it came to my mother. So I think that when it came down to me and my ex relationship, the real full relationship. Now the first little things was just me just being wild and womanish and wanting to try something different. And yeah, being, violated at such an early age made me be more promiscuous because I felt like that's how I was supposed to be loved. Like that's how somebody was supposed to show me they love me because so many of my violators were my family members or people that were supposed to protect me, and when the main man that was supposed to protect me wasn't there, that's when these people, became to be the predators or whatever. So um I'm kind of like you, where if it had anything to do with a man, I really never trusted them. Because I got raised by my father just taught me certain things. I think that I treated men as, what's the word? I felt like I was the female pimp, you know. Yeah, like I'm put them on the shelf. I play with you, So if I don't, it is what it is. But really, actually, I was playing myself. But yeah, but it felt, I ain't gonna lie, it felt good because I was like, you can't, my daddy didn't lace me with the game, you can't never, ever, ever run a G on me, And I think, even though you didn't ask me this question, right now, the place I'm in my marriage, I think that's why I'm so upset with myself, is because I should have known better. I should have seen better, but I had took my pimp head off so long ago that I just, and yeah, because and now I'm on this path to where I said I'm trusting God. Remember, we took that part of that vow and we did so I was totally trusting God to lead and guide me, and I'm like, should have kept my pimp on and trusted God at the same time. But anyway, but to answer your question, I would say that was half of it, and the other half of what made me go to that. Thank you, Holy Ghost. I'm gonna be honest. I would say it's a three-part thing. It was the sexual abuse and sexual trauma for most of my growing up life, like from 7 all the way until I was married to my husband and still was getting violated. So and I was married to my husband when I was 22, so 22, 23 in that time frame. So I think
I got married at 22.
And I think even after my marriage, I had a situation where I got sodomized. So most of my life, has been violation after violation of any type. So I would say that's one part of it. The second part of it will have to be, the relationship that I had with my mother and not understanding that, things from her past tied into me. So, and then the third part, I would have to say, I lost it. Bring it back. I lost it. I lost that third one, and it was a good one. The sexual trauma, my mom, and I can't remember the other one. It'll come back to me, y'all. But it was a third part to it. I want to say it has something to do with getting hurt by the church, or I know it has something to do with when my husband died. And just all the stuff that I went through with him, and I had gone through with so many men. I just felt like, I didn't want, kind of like you, I didn't want anything to do with men. So, but that wasn't what I was gonna say. It was something else. Y'all, I'm sorry, I lost it.
So, with that, I say, I believe that now, I believe that God allowed me to experience those things because I can relate to people differently. I'm less judgmental because I know the judgment because I've done it. I've experienced it firsthand. And I really forgot about the fact, I don't know how, but as a little girl, about 8 years old, I had a cousin that was older than me. I won't name names, but it was a female. And I looked up to her, and I would always want to be around her whenever I would go and visit my dad on the weekends. And she would, like, tell me to like take my clothes off, and she would try to teach me like how to masturbate and like play with myself. I was doing that from 8 years old, and okay, this might be real graphic, but I almost wonder if that's the reason why like I can't experience that because I've done it from such a like little kid. Do you know what I'm saying?
I don't think that it's the reason why you can't. It is, but it has something to do with
Mentally.
just the way. I think you have it closed off until yeah. That's something that you should. That's something that you should lay on the altar. Yeah.
No, I talked to God about that already. I don't want it until I'm married.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
Because I want something special that only my husband has. That he can say only he has.
And let me tell you, hold up. Let me tell you something.
I prayed to Jesus about that.
Let me tell listen. Let your sister tell you something, honey. No, I'm being real serious. Like, let me tell you something. It's something about that commitment when. That's why I say
I didn't have it in my first marriage.
Hold on, that's what I'm saying. I didn't have it in my first marriage either. So what I'm saying to you is, that's why I'm like, God, you blessed me with all this wonderful yumminess, and he got to be acting. Because let me tell you something. I had watched the shout out to Teddy and Tina Campbell. They were talking about how you bring God into your relationship.
Oh, yes,
yeah, and when I tell you, she, me, her, I was tricking my husband. My husband didn't even know, but I was setting him up. You know what I'm saying? Set him up. But yeah, I would be like, okay, God, I need you to, come into our, and even if I forget to say the prayer, it's something about the connection, the soul tie that me and my husband have. And I think it was because we did the Praying for Our Future Spouse Challenge and we did the vow of celibacy, and it was a totally different type of situation. And when I tell you that thing, that come is a blessing from Jesus.
I don't know nothing about that.
Blessing from heaven. Now, if that's what God created to be like, I need that every day. Like the song say, you can call him every day. Call him.
I heard she me. I don't know nothing about that, but I
was about to say something. Remind me to tell you something after this recording.
Okay.
Yes, because
yes, no, yes.
But so, yeah, I understand. Yeah.
That was one of the biggest things that
that was a good one, Coach.
Forgot about until I was an adult. Because growing up, I was always taught that same-sex relationships were not okay. And
me too.
I was like,
and you're gonna go to hell, and God's gonna spit you out, and
yes, because when I first told my mom, she told me I was an abomination.
Yeah,
like it was real in the field. So, for me, it was the act of sex itself was never something that I really physically, it never felt good. I'll say that. It was something that I did more because I felt like I had to. Or I was supposed to. Because it brought this, like, it made me feel so powerful. Like, I could make, like, they would act so stupid. Like, all I gotta do is, like, have sex with you and I can get you to do all this stuff. I was like, this is magical. But I didn't enjoy it. It was
like a drug.
Yeah, but I didn't enjoy it, personally. Until, it was a long time before I really, like, started to enjoy sex. And then when I started to enjoy sex, I had a whole phase. It was real bad. It was bad in these streets.
I done said that if God don't change, if He don't fix this marriage and I become single again,
you're not gonna have. We're not doing.
No. But that was before before I got to this point. But before, I was like, oh, she gonna be. I mean, created me a hostel and a brothel and a mothel if I need to.
Not in our 40s.
God is so good. I ain't got to do it, but I'm gonna have them. I'm gonna get some girls like some girls and boys and bring them down to the house. But anyway, y'all forgive me. I'm just saying I'm not gonna do that. But that was a moment that I had.
I was actually at one point in my life on a website where I had like a pimp, and you could
I
like
remember you telling me about that.
call in and like order me offline, and I would like go and have sex for money.
So like a call girl.
Yeah, like I did that at one point in my life, and
It ain't no different from stripping, and then you got to go in the VIP room. Same thing.
I'm just saying.
But I know, yeah.
Me, that was like the lowest point of my life. And I said, now I understand why people who do this are on drugs because I didn't understand how somebody could just get up every day with a sober mind and just go have random sex with somebody and or that you're not attracted to and you don't. Girl, I had this pain in my side that would not go away until I stopped. I was physically ill. And then when I stopped doing it, the pain went away. So once I experimented with a female, it was weird because it felt different. Like, you know when you're traumatized?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but from the rape, whenever I would engage with a man, my body would cringe and it would be like when I knew
I would have terrors.
Yeah, like when I knew it was about to my body would do this weird.
I would break out crying and have terrors. And even with my husband, I did that.
And I would throw up. I would be like,
I didn't get to that point, but I was close.
All the time. So
I would be like, and my husband used to be like, what's wrong?
What is wrong with you? I don't mean to laugh.
I was like, I'm so sorry.
It really damaged me mentally to the point to where like I couldn't be in certain positions. I couldn't have my hands held down. Like I would bust out crying. I would literally freak out. So I didn't feel that with a woman. I felt safe. And I also had that disconnect with my mother. It wasn't that she was there. We just didn't really have that close bond because at one point in my life, she was on drugs and we had a really iffy period in there, and we just didn't go together very well. And I was always looking for, like, I felt like my mom didn't love me. And I couldn't figure out why. I would be like, well, what did I do to make her not love me? So I was looking for that feeling that I wanted from her, like her acceptance, her love, her approval. I was looking for that, but I was looking for it in the wrong things. But to me, I would be like, well, if I got it, somebody can make me feel that.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like what it
that's true.
That's kind of like what it felt like when I was with a woman.
That's what it felt like when I was with my ex. And then for me, like you said, you just wanted her approval. Yeah. So for me, it was like I always thought that, and I still to this day, I feel like my mom has a favorite, and it's my brother. You know, and she don't like what I say, but that's just how I feel. That's how I just, So my brother would always do crazy stuff and be bad and get in trouble, and every day he'd come home with a pink slip whenever we was in school. So I was like, okay, if I start being bad, stop being a nerd, I start being bad and stop being daddy's girl so much, then maybe she'll see me, and be like, okay, you need to, So I think that's what made me do it. A lot of it made me want to just rebel, like trying to get her attention.
It was real different, but once for me, it was something that didn't feel. I wasn't scared. I wasn't afraid. I didn't feel like something bad was going to happen to me. So actually, for me, it was really difficult, and that's when I really started struggling again because I was like, I had so many people telling me you're gonna go to hell,
Mm-hmm.
Then I was like, well, God, why would you do this? Like, out of all the things, why this? Like, why I gotta wear this jacket? Like, I've been normal all my life up until now, and during the time my father was in the hospital dying of cancer, I didn't even tell him. And I was actually afraid to tell him because I have an uncle on my dad's side that's gay, and they talked about him so bad. Like, I just was, I didn't want to feel. I've always been the black sheep. You know what I'm
Me
saying?
too.
So I just
Or
like,
so I
dang, like
felt
you finna
anyway.
get like now I'm gonna have something else that's gonna set me apart from it. Like I'm already don't feel accepted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I never told my dad that, but I never really told uh, no whole bunch of
I didn't mean to
people.
laugh. I just, my daddy
Yeah.
was like, I didn't know you tell me that. I was like, really? Yeah.
I told my mom and I told my sister, but I remember when I told them, like, you know how like you don't really know for real how ignorant people are until something happens.
Yeah.
And I was told, oh, well, I figured that, and I would be like, well, why would you think that? They told me because I would cut my hair off. So because I wore short hair, that was a sign that I like girls. No, I wore short hair because my father told me that I didn't have to have hair to be beautiful. And I was always perming my hair. And he wanted me to be able to see myself in my natural state with no hair and be confident enough to be like I'm beautiful with or without hair. That's the only reason I cut my. That was my daddy doing. That wasn't me. But that really
that was a good thing to teach you though.
Yeah,
because
but
my father worshipped my hair. He started talking to me for some years when I cut my hair off.
No, my dad was like, cut your hair off, put on some big earrings, and go about your business. And
My
you better
father
walk
was
out
like,
this
a woman
door.
should never cut her hair. That's your glory.
He was like, and you better walk out this door with your hair high, like you know that you know that you know.
They got to like you know.
Like you know. And I
sir
did.
and sir. Yeah.
And that, and now it's a part of me that, ooh, like
you just gotta hold on to.
No, like you don't understand. Like I will cut my hair like none. Like
I will
fade cut
I
my
will
hair.
too.
And people be like, this girl cut her. My mama is the same way. My mama will cut her. My mama got this much hair. She always cutting her hair. So it's just things like that that really damage. I would say like will damage you during that process. And I was wondering for you if the sexual trauma played a role because I know for me it did, and I also believe that God let that happen to me because things that you're taught. I think that I was at one point in my life very judgmental, and now I'm very understanding. Like
I've heard other people say that. Yeah. I never really was that What's crazy now is I can say this is how people judge me and my ex's relationship. But then now all of them were doing the same thing. Like they're going through their own little trying to figure out who they are and what they like and what's right and tight for them. You know
I guess because ours was never really. I didn't tell my whole entire family. It was like I told my mama, I told my sister. I don't know who told who and said what to who, and the next thing I know, it was all over. Y'all know Chance Day. She like girls. I was like,
that girl, I like them girls.
What? Like, where did you? What? Whatever. So that was a whole ordeal in itself. But it it helped me in a lot of different ways because I'm able to relate to other people now.
He barking. Do we need to go outside?
No, he probably does.
He just came here.
No, he gonna make the other dogs bark. No.
She like,
relax.
Am I dreaming?
So now I'm able to be that person to other people that when I was going through it, I didn't have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like if someone comes to me and says, you know, this is what I'm going through or this is what I'm dealing with, I'm not looking at them like, oh, you nasty. I mean, I would just have people ask me the weirdest things, like outside of why, people want to know why. I would have people ask me weird questions. and I just
I just
tried to
what in the history
for
of
the most part, I try to be as open and honest as I can with people, and let them know how I feel, why I feel like how I feel, what I did, why I did it, and I just try to answer their questions.
I'm still listening to you.
I know
Something happened to our live, y'all, so
yours just cut off.
it just said bloop. So I guess I'll have to start it again.
It's a good thing. Do you have this recording?
Yeah, this is recording. So that we can just.
You should just probably upload this one.
But Loco asked me to go live. We've been live, so I don't know how she didn't see it. So let me see. Let's do it from here. Let's say part 2. What's the next question? I'm listening.
Oh. Do you think that you decided to take the journey that you're on now? Do you think that your past, that people judge you from your past?
Do I think that at this very moment, or have I felt that way before? Ooh. I know that they judge me from my past.
So what advice would you give someone that feels, or maybe like someone who's just decided, they just started their journey? What advice would you give them as far as dealing with judgment about who you are, where you're going, and where you've been?
Hold on, let me, because that was good. You said, what would I would know? Let me make sure I heard that right. Let me put this back down. Sorry, Facebook. Our live just went vominos, and I didn't even get to save it and post it or whatever. I don't know.
Oh, that's rude.
It just clicked off. I don't know. I told you my phone back is super. So, we're gonna upload the Zoom footage, to both our YouTube channel and our Facebook channel and our pages and stuff, so y'all can see it, because I have no idea what happened to the first part, and we got down to some nitty gritty on there, and everybody come in. I don't know what happened to our first part of the live. If you have the call-in number for Zoom, you can still call in and ask your questions, or you can ask your questions on here, however you feel like you need to do it. For the first part, the first hour, we talked about questions for Chance, and
that's it. Oh,
that's it.
Wait, was that the whole thing? Oh,
okay,
wait,
if that
wait,
was it,
wait.
if that was it, then can you save it?
Hold on.
Not that one. Yeah, that's it. So is it saved?
This was on my.
Okay, yeah, okay. Woo, thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. Woo, Lord, won't he do it, Jesus? Girl, I thought we had lost that whole hour, because it was some juicy tidbit questions that was asked. Hi, sister-in-law. Hi, bro. Okay, so the first half of the, this is part 2 of our question and answer, a candid chance storm. A chance of rainstorm. So Chance is asking me questions now. In the first half, I asked her questions. We talked about some really good, juicy things, and now she asked me a question a few minutes ago, but I was trying to get the live back up. So if you all have questions, we're having just a candid conversation about like our journeys, how we tie in our spirituality to everything. That's Ski. Hey Ski. We have some little viewers. We got a little up and a little view. But anyway.
I couldn't see that far away.
Yeah, we're just having a candid conversation about how our spirituality, how I believe in God, how I believe in Jesus, dying on the cross for our sins and all that yummy, yummy goodness. But we having real talk. So if you have children in the room, some of the stuff that we will be saying is not for children's ears, but you can govern your children according to how you feel like it should go in your household. We're just letting you know. So yeah, we will, like I said, we will post the whole conversation, seamless conversation from the Zoom to all of our platforms like YouTube and our Facebook. So go ahead. What was your question you was just asking? Do you remember? You know what you're in the spirit now? I'm like, what was your question that you just asked that I didn't catch everything? It was a good question, but I didn't get it. What was you saying? Y'all see both of us good?
I asked you, what advice would you give someone who might be new on their journey as far as judgment, as far as where they are, where they've been, and where they're going, how to handle it?
She gonna have to come. You gonna have to call me, sister-in-law, if you on this live, and you gonna have to wait till I get off my live to call me. But anyway, let me make sure I understand the question. You said, what advice would I give someone that's new in their ministry or new in their spiritual walk? Period. Which part? Ooh, chance. I should have asked you that question because yeah.
But you didn't.
Let me see. Ooh, what advice I would give a brand new baby or a rookie or somebody that's starting all over again? I would simply say God created us all unique, special, rare. We don't even have the same fingerprints. He knows everything about you. He knows everything about us. There's nothing that you can do that will make God love you any less or stop loving you. It just is what it is. So that my advice to them would be take your time, spend time with finding out which organization with the organisms in underneath the organization's roof that you grow in. When I say that, I mean a lot of us feel like the church is the organization, which is the sanctuary, but the church is in you. The church, you are the church. We, Chance, me, you, them, we all make up the body of Christ. We all make up the church. So, I guess my advice would be to take your time, to know that you're not gonna have everything like you see your sister or brother or your cousin or your aunt, and your relationship with God is not going to be the same as somebody else. Like the way I am with God, and like I hear God, like straight up G, like how I'm talking to you. That's how I hear God in my spirit. So the way I commune with God and my relationship with God, and the path that I take, it's not gonna be the same way that Chance might hear from God or Chance might relate to God, or because like Chance, we both like to take notes, like if we're watching a playback or something, or we're watching church online, or we're in church. Hey Loco, Loco say hey go, hey y'all, hey go. Hey. Yeah, so we both like to take notes, and we both like to get down into the meeting. I would say meeting graveyard. You want to hold the phone?
No.
meat
I
and
was just trying
gravy
to
of
think.
things. But Chance goes like really, really deep into it. Like she'll Google a word if she doesn't know it. She will like write down. That's just the way the anointing gives it to her. So, what was the other part of the question? Am I going over your question,
Um,
or am I not getting to the media? I feel like I'm blabbering, y'all. I do that sometimes.
so I said if they had to three parts, present, past, and future. If they were feeling judged because of the,
Judgment. Okay. If they were feeling judged, what should they do?
I was just saying, what advice would you give someone that was struggling with when you cross over? It brings new levels.
Okay.
So people are going to judge you
Okay.
on a lot of different things: how you act, how you speak, what you talk,
Okay.
anything.
I know what you're saying. Okay, so remember, we are transparent. We keep it real, raw, and uncut here. It's not gonna always be church folky, churchy. It might not be politically correct for some, but please charge it to my head, not my heart. But I'm gonna tell you, I had a conversation with my brother. I told you he started his fifth for the king, before me. So, you know, I've never really been that girl that really cared about what somebody thought about something, a decision that I made or something that I thought I wanted to do. If I thought I was going to do it, rain would go hard to go home. Like I'm gonna do any and everything that I thought I was big enough and bad enough to do. That's just always how I have been. So it I would say it really depends on you staying true to you. So if you're not a person that's just raw, um outspoken, or bought that life like that, no matter what it is, if you bought that life in the world, on the corner, on the block, on the pole, but if you're not bought that life like that, I would say take time to allow God to strengthen you where you are, so that it's going to be hard, but you're supposed to stay focused. um you're supposed to keep your eyes on God, on Jesus. So you're gonna have to learn how to hone in on, like, kind of have your spiritual blinders on, like your physical blinders on. Like you are gonna have to be careful what you let go in your ear, what you let go in your eyes, what you let come out of your mouth, because you can say, um, and I've been a victim of this. You can say, uh, I'm a little nervous because recently, chances my witness, this past week, once I put the Focus Life page out there, it was like, okay, I did it. You can never really and truly erase social media and stuff like that. So once I stepped out on that water, I had to just keep walking towards Jesus, or I'm a sink. So um, I was a little concerned about how my circle, my square, and my triangle was going to feel about um the step that I took. And when I say my triangle, I mean my mother, my father, and my dad, which are my inner. That's who no matter what anybody else say, it's God, and then my triangle. So if they be like, nah, I don't think that was what you were supposed to be doing. They know me better than anybody, for the most part. And my square is like, that four corner, hey, you gonna check on me, which is Chance, Shawanda, probably Tasha, and probably Loco, who's on here now. I'll ask, I'll bounce off of them. And then my circle is, my family, my friends, the people who I actually will give my life for, any of those. So I think it was Pastor Todd that taught us that if we're gonna do something, to check with somebody that. I really do believe. I think he said something like, if you're gonna do something, and you believe God gave you something, it's good to have counsel. So you should check with somebody else, like run it by them. So yeah, but yeah, that's right. So for the newcomer, or the person that's like intermediate, like junior high level people, when it comes to judgment, um you have to remember to stand on the word. You're gonna have to apply the word to your life, period. The Bible clearly says, "Judge ye not, lest ye be judged." And then you're also gonna have to remember who you are and whose you are. If God be for you, who can be against you? They talk about Jesus. They spit in Jesus' face. They call Jesus a liar. So and they knew who he was. So if they could judge Jesus, what makes you think that you're going to be any different? And the closer that you get to being more like Jesus, which is the ultimate goal, to be Christ-like and to tell somebody else about how God, through His Son Jesus, changed and saved you. So I would have to say that to somebody that's, I guess, a kind of like I won't say a vet, but somebody that's been there and done that, it does not make it any less nervous or fearful, but God didn't give you the spirit of fear. My brother told me straight penny with no chase. You're gonna have to have some nuts about you. You know, you when you go step out there and you're gonna go full force with your ministry, your focused life, and you're gonna start really teaching and talking and ministering to people. People are going to ridicule you. They're going to put you under the spotlight. So you're gonna have to be nuck if you buck. You're gonna have to, the Bible says, put on your full armor of God so that when you're going against the enemy, you can have your protection. So, he was like, yeah, I've never cared about what people say, but yeah, of course, every day. He said, every day I have to go against some type of principality, or power or something like that. And for me, I'm a thinker. So if I give the enemy any way to get into this, then we got a problem because I'm always thinking, analyzing. I don't really do too much. I'm really not a talker like that. So when you hear me speaking, a lot of times it's not even me speaking. I totally allow God to come out of my throat. He uses my throat. He uses my words. And what else did you ask me? Did I answer the question?
Yeah, I just asked were if they were struggling with feeling judged or going through situations with judgment because of their past or their present. How what would you tell them? So
Okay, so let me ask you. That part that she asked me. Hello, everybody that's coming in. Hello, cousins. Hello, family. Out to answer that part, what would I tell them to do? You're gonna have to have a strong relationship with God first, and when you can't just be a fan of Jesus. You have to be a true follower of God for you to be able to do those things, and God has to call you and choose you and what's the word? You can't just decide to say, "Oh, I'm gonna jump out there and just start talking to people about Christ." Nah, you have to be really like in the nitty gritty in the trenches with God, and you have to allow God to take you through a process. God has showed me this thing for me to do 10 years ago, probably 12 years ago. People have been telling me about my gifts and my calling and my destiny and my purpose, and where God has showed them. People I didn't even know have been telling me this is what people around me have been saying. You're a first lady. You're a teacher. You can speak good. You have. But I had to wait to get myself to that point to where I was willing to accept it. So I'm not gonna I'm not gonna go out and do something and then worry about what somebody is going to say. But it takes time to get there. Um, it takes time to not worry about if tomorrow when I get around my family, they're gonna be like, I don't know if you should have said. Let me tell y'all a story. This is what happened to me. And I wasn't even aware about the hate. But God gave me a thing called no time for hate. Let them haters hate. That's their job. That's all they here to do. But I'm getting married and I had somebody in my family that was hating on my marriage. What happened at my wedding ceremony. But guess who don't care? Like, I don't care. I didn't it didn't upset it didn't make me feel some type of way. It upset me for a quick 8.9 seconds, but it didn't. I'm married. So it didn't stop anything. So you didn't stop anything that God had for me. Also, I would just say, just take your time, be patient with yourself, allow yourself to be groomed and strengthened and led by God before you just get out there and set yourself up for failure. People are going to talk. Um, you never know who's watching you. So you're going to have to be careful how you walk, how you talk, how you be. Now, for me, everybody that I did the census with, my support system, my group, my village, the people that I trust that know me, that know I like to still grab my knees every now and then. I still like to twerk and throw it in a circle. I still might like a daiquiri. I'm not perfect. Um, but when it comes down to how I feel about God and Jesus and what I know that they have done for me, I would not be sitting here having this conversation with you in the flesh had it not been God's grace and mercy. Because I've done some things. I've been places, and I've had some low lows and some high highs, and so no one can separate me from how I feel about God. No one can make me not speak on God. But I'm not trying to get churchy like that. This is just a candid conversation. So um if God is telling you to do something, if He's pricking and putting a thorn in your flesh that you can't shake, like He was getting on, Lord forgive me for saying that, but He was irking it a little bit. Like He was like, I've been telling you to do this, I've been telling you to do that. So, okay, you want to focus on your marriage, you're going to put your marriage before what I'm telling you to do. Okay, well, I'm going to mess up your marriage. I'm going to separate y'all. I'm going to make it to where you're going to have to come to me. You're going to have to come see me, come holler at me. So I'm getting off of her question, but initially I would just tell anyone, your past is what is going to make you. Had I not had my past, had I not been a stripper, had I not been um married to a dope boy, had I not been my father's child, had I not been alcoholic, had I not been addicted to sex, had I not been raped, had I not been beat, had I not been drugged, had I not been a fighter, had I not gone to clubs at 15 when I should have been 21 to get in, had I not been a widow, had I not been in polygamy, had I not been in a same sex relationship, I would not. I'm not talking about separate like that. I'm talking about allow us to be in different places at different times. That's what I mean by saying He separate us. I'm not talking about separate like cause a division in between us. That's what I'm talking about. So if for you all that's out there that's listening to me when I said God said He was going to separate us, God is a jealous God. He will not allow you to put somebody else before Him. So what I mean by that is I was in a sense making my husband more important than my relationship with God. Like I would get to the point to where I'm so worried about doing everything for fat that I would forget that I was supposed to be praying and doing Bible study and talking to people about being about my father's business is what I'm trying to say. So therefore, here's the pandemic. Here come the Rona. You can't work. Okay, your husband went over here to Ville class, so you come on over here and be still and know that I am God and let me holler at you for me and let me get you in check. That's what I mean by that. So yeah, no, God does not just cause separation, but God will do things. He will allow things to happen. He gives us free will. He will allow things to happen to get our attention. So that's what I mean by that. He will. When I say He'll separate you, he will set you apart. It's like He made Abraham leave his whole family, his father and his mother, and go out there not even knowing where he's going. But Abraham had to go. Um, just like just like Joseph. Joseph's brothers put him in the pit because he was the chosen one out of them, because they didn't want to listen to his dreams. So yeah, when I say He'll separate you from things, that's what I mean. He'll make it to where you got to bow down to Him and only Him, and you got to come for it, and you got to do what it is He has for you to do. When He wants you, He's going to do by any means necessary what He has to do to get you. So that's what I mean by that. But yeah, 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 yeah. But don't worry about what people are saying are going to say about you. They're going to talk about you to their blue in their face. Some people, misery loves company. Some people just need to have your life to have something to say. That you give them, like they say on Real Housewives of Atlanta. You give them their storyline. You give them their job. The haters would not have a job if you wasn't doing something right, and you know you're doing something according to what God's plan and will for your life. Whenever you get pushed, you get what's the word? Pushed back. Whenever you, what I've learned for myself is you on the right path if somebody got something to say, because the devil not gonna make nobody say nothing if you still on his team. But once you start doing what God's telling you to do, then yeah, you're gonna have, oh, she thinks she all that. How she could tell me not to do this and she was just doing that? Wasn't she with such and such husband last week, last month? Didn't she have 5, 6, 7 boyfriends? And don't she still be talking to her girlfriend on the phone? How she over there taking care of them people's children and she ain't have her own children? Didn't she just ride on it and drop it down and pick it back up? Wasn't she just at 160 ride last week with them little tum shorts on? So yeah, people gonna do that. Go ahead.
Look, I said, pick me.
Go ahead.
Did you see? No, for real. Did you see the one that Pastor Keon just did?
Revelation and relationship. I told you about it. I told you.
Okay, so you see the part when he said that
haters gonna hate, bestie. Haters gonna hate.
A lot of people miss the message because of the package that it
comes in. Of course. I've had a lot of people miss the message, but that's thank you for saying that. A lot of people, God has sent me to tell them things. Once I got over, like, I didn't know them, But once I started accepting the things that He was telling me to tell them, and I didn't tell them. Case in point. So some of my family members know that I can see things in my dream. Like I'm a seer. That's one of my gifts. So I remember when Harvey was coming, and I was like, "It's gonna be a big old storm. Y'all need to get ready. Y'all ain't gonna listen to me, and y'all gonna be looking like who shot John and why." Okay, so maybe it was because it was me that was telling it to them, but I don't know why they would play with me when they know how I'm coming. But even my husband, one of them, I be telling him something. I dreamed this, that, and third happened to you. That he was like, "You jinxing me." I ain't got time to be jinxing you. I'm just trying to help you. But I'm trying to help Ike. If you don't want to Ike, then you go on about your business. But anyway, I'm just saying, yeah, that's true. People don't let me tell you something. Do not miss your blessing worrying about what the package looks like. Do not judge a messenger by the mess that they might have been in before. Because God changes your mess into your message. God takes your test and makes it a testimony. God takes your trash and makes it treasure. So please don't get twisted. You would never know who God is using. That's why, and then once you find out who God is using, the Bible clearly says, judge not lest you be judged. And He also says, touch not my anointed, do my prophet no harm. So please, 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 please don't lose and miss your blessings and block your, whatever with that. Those type of things. What else you got? That was actually a question you
had? No, this ain't.
Oh, okay.
It's not a question.
Okay. Anybody out there have some questions
for us?
For us, y'all, I got my co-pilot with. It wasn't it nice to have my co-pilot with me today? No, I'm really serious. Like, wasn't it nice for y'all to see both of us hear somebody else's voice other than mine? I know y'all tired of looking at me.
Yeah, I have wanted to know if anyone had any questions. Her and I were having a conversation, and I told her that I thought it was important that we let people know like where we come from, which is the past, and you see where we are currently, and then you get a chance to see us transform to where we're going. Mm-hmm. So that's how the whole like testimony thing came into play. And I just feel like it's important for people to know where you come from so that I think it lessens the judgment zone because it makes us more approachable and it makes you all feel less judged. Like, oh, they've really gone through something, or they understand, or they're not looking at me funny, or think I'm weird, or whatever it could be. That because we've gone through it. Some, not everything. We all got our crosses to carry, but sometimes it's easier to talk to people that you feel like you can relate to, and that for me, part of my struggle with this has always been I never want to say the wrong thing, and I'm very new in my journey, so I don't quote Bible scriptures because guess what? I don't know. I don't.
But that's okay. Well, go ahead, keep on. You good? You saying some good stuff.
It's not a lot of things. There's a lot of things that I still don't do that I'm supposed to do. I don't read my Bible every night. I don't pray probably as often as I should. I've gotten better. Like I don't just pray now when I need something. I pray all the time now. Not today. So I just wanted to know if there were any questions that anyone may have had as far as like, what are some of the things that you guys might feel like could be preventing you from maybe taking the step to grow your faith? Is it any questions that you have that you might want to ask? Any advice that you may want, any questions you may want to know about me, her, a situation, anything. You can ask any question, honestly. So, hold on, somebody, I'm blind. That's very true. So, I know that I'm becoming a new creature, and I notice that things are changing. I've lost some relationships so far in this last year, and I'm okay with it. I wasn't okay in the beginning. Now I'm finally at that point, like, whoever go. Like, I'm not really at it used to hurt a lot. Like, if someone would judge me or stop talking to me or whatever the case was, I would feel really bad. Now I don't. I'd be like, I'm not going to lose myself for anybody else because I've gone a long time without trusting in God. And a lot of things have happened to me in between that time. And my goal is to try to reach as many people as I can, to help as many people as I can. And if my story will help you in some kind of a way, I'm here for that.
Tell them your testimony.
Oh wow!
While you in the zone, you might as
well. I wasn't ready for that
one. Let them know what you mean by.
Let me see. So I had started writing earlier. Pretty much this is some of the stuff that I had wrote a little earlier that I said that I wanted to share. So, both of my parents, my mother and my father, both experimented with drugs. At one point in my life, my mother was on crack cocaine and became addicted. I have an older brother by my father that is addicted to heroin. So drug use has been throwing the can. Drug use has been something that I've always seen in my family. Many different members of my family on both sides, that is.
My father was a hustler. He was a little pimp in his day before he died.
You said he was a little pimp?
He was a little pimp. She over there talking about, I don't know, not Al. And pretty much, yeah, he was a hustler. He lived he lived the street life until he met my mother. I think that's when he probably got his first honest job in his 40s. He was chauvinistic.
Was he?
Was he? Girl, my daddy used to tell me stuff like women can't drive. Like I drive like how I am because I'm a woman. He used to just stay ignorant. He's special. Okay.
Sorry, y'all.
But I knew he loved me, so it was okay. So my father had 3 children. He was never married, and he got 3 baby mamas. I was the youngest, and I was the only girl. My mother had, well, out of her children that survived, it's my sister and I, and we both have different fathers as well. So she had some children that didn't make it, and all of her children who died were boys. They didn't make it. So my mother was in an abusive marriage, I would say, when she was a teenager still, if I'm not mistaken. And she's married, her husband punched her in the stomach while she was carrying his baby, and she lost the baby. And that was the reason she couldn't carry children from in between my sister and me. All the children she had after my sister, before me, all died because of that. She couldn't carry them. So when she got pregnant with me, she said she was really afraid. She didn't think I was going to make it. She calls me her miracle child, pretty much. I was born 3 months early. I was 3 pounds and 3 ounces when I was born. They told them I had a 50-50 chance of living and dying. That's how I got my name, Chance. Pretty glad my dad chose Chance because he said he was going to name me Thin, like D and N put together, like the N. So thank you, Lord.
Did you say the D and the N?
Thin, like the N. Oh, my scarf flew off. Like the N. That's what he told me he was going to name me because I was going to be the last baby. He wasn't having no more kids. Like the N, then the N. Yeah, don't worry about it. They named me Chance instead. Thank you, through Jesus. So, what was I going to say? Oh, so yeah, that's how I got my name. And yes, my mom said that they told her when I was born that I was really strong. I was a fighter, that I was going to make it. So she said she was real scared, but I made it and she was happy. So, here I am 41 years later with my scarf sticking up in the middle of my head.
Oh no.
I want people to know that I'm not perfect. I've caused pain to other people. I've had pain inflicted on me. I've not been a nice person. I've not been the best person to other people. I've not always been the best daughter, the best sister, the best auntie, the best friend, the best cousin, the best person. I don't claim to be perfect at all. I'm definitely human. I've made a whole bunch of mistakes. I can be petty. I can be messy. I can be ignorant. I could be a whole bunch of other colorful words.
Yep.
I can also be loving, kind, sweet, compassionate, nurturing, giving. I can be all of those things. It just depends on what version you get. And that sometimes depends on the day. So that's why I say I ask God to show me those parts of me. And I know that the things that I've gone through now are going to help me help someone else. Yeah. So when I was younger and I felt like God, there couldn't be a God because he forgot about me and he let these things happen to me, I don't feel like that now. Because I feel like that's what's going to make me relatable to somebody. And if I can tell somebody, look, check this out. My mama was a crackhead. this happened to me. I done been raped. I was pregnant and lost a baby in the 8th grade. Turned around and
Shut
was
your mouth. Go talk. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't know that it was the 8th grade. But go ahead.
yeah. I was pregnant in the 8th grade. Had a miscarriage. Didn't know I was pregnant. Maybe a month or so after that, I was raped, and then could not have children. From that point on, I attempted suicide after that.
Me too.
Because my daddy told me it was my fault. I didn't know how to process that in my head. And at that time, when you're young, you got your first love. I was in a relationship with a guy that I really loved, head over heels in love, but I didn't know how to process the pain, the emotions that I was dealing with. So, like I said, I didn't like anything that had to do with a man. God, Jesus, my daddy, no matter who it was. You a man, I don't like you. So that's when I started struggling with my faith, probably up until I got married. And I tried to go back that way, but it didn't work because I was really tormented mentally when I started going to church. I was about to say church. When I started going to church, I really thought I was going crazy. Like, I literally called my mom one day, like, help, I think I'm going crazy. But I just asked God to allow the relationships that I have with people now, I want them to honor him. I want to people to see me and be like, oh, you know her and her mama? Girl, that ain't nothing but God. Because them two right there, I'm going to tell you that the relationship that my mother and I have right now is nothing but the Lord. Because if it was just me, it wouldn't be. There was a point in my life where I didn't even talk to my mom.
Man.
We got into me and my mama threw real balls in real life. Like, we was straight fighting. Like, we wasn't mother and daughter. We was fighting like two people out on the street that didn't like each other. And I told my mom I hated her. I called her a stupid black bitch. Ooh, that was so wrong. Yeah, I know, but I'm being real. I told my mama that I hated her, and I hope she died and went to hell. Wow. I told her that if I ever had kids, they would never know her as their grandma. And when I went into the military, if I died, I told her don't come to my funeral. No. When I got married, my mom was not at my wedding. When my mama got married, I was not at her wedding. We didn't do each other. So I'm telling you that to tell you that if you see me and my mama right now, you would never think that any of that ever happened. You would be like, y'all so close, y'all so funny, y'all so. It didn't used to be like that. Now, let me tell you, I took that time to get to know my mama as a person. That's the step. I was telling her this a little earlier. Like, I think we kind of look at our parents as like these perfect people when we put them up on a pedestal, and we don't think that they're human. Like, we don't look at them as just regular human beings, and we have a higher expectation for them. We hold them to a higher standard. So I think that's how I was with my mom. And when I would talk to her, a lot of the stuff she would say she didn't remember, and I would be like, how could you not? But I was really angry. So I tried to just do it a different way. I prayed. I told God that was something that I really wanted. I didn't want my mom to die and I not have a relationship with her. That, because I really thought she didn't love me. I thought she didn't care about me. She could take me or leave me. And that caused me to make a lot of sketchy moves in my life. So I just talked to her one day and I just asked her questions like about her life. And once I listened to her and she told me some of the things that she has been through, it helped me a lot to see her as not just like my mom, but like as a human being with feelings. And things have happened to her, and I just started thinking to myself, like, well, what would I have done if that happened to me? And I had a kid. See, I don't even have no kids. Some of the stuff she been through, I couldn't imagine going through by myself, let alone with two kids. One kid, two kids, no kid, none, whatever. I couldn't. So it was just a little easier for me to forgive her for some of the things that happened. And I also took into consideration, not that it's an excuse, but that at a point in her life, she was on drugs. That is what it is. They don't make rational decisions all the time. That's just like being drunk or being high. You don't make rational decisions. That's why they tell you not to operate heavy machinery. So I was able to forgive her. We have a beautiful relationship. I choke slam somebody right now today about my mom. Today. We have a very beautiful relationship. I would have never imagined it could be anything like how it is right now. I thank God for my mama. I love her for the strength that she has. That's where I get mine from. I know that. Her faith is unshakable. She cold in that game. And I know she's been praying for me for a long time. So I also feel really good that she was able to see her prayers answered through me. Because I know she's been talking to Jesus and them about me for a long time. So that felt really good for her to feel like, okay, my daughter is, she's okay. She's gonna be okay. That was a good thing. And for God to start answering some of my prayers, for me to be able to provide for her and take some of the burden off of her in her older years. That's a really good thing. So I feel really good about that. And I feel like our relationship is definitely a testament of God. You can look at us and be like, if them two can do it, them two right there, if they can do it, anybody can do it. And that's what I want. That's my goal with my relationships, is to honor God in what I do. I got a long way to go. I'm so far off. I mess up daily.
You're really not.
I mess up daily.
You're gonna always mess up daily. Just, you know what I'm saying?
I do. But I know I do, but I don't hold it against myself as much as I used to. I'm okay with not being perfect. And I'm just happy that I actually started and that I'm back on the right track, because my life has, my life been so different since I got baptized on Father's Day. It's great. What's that song about? Is that Tammy the Man that sang that song when she said, I've never been in this place?
Never thought I'd be in this place.
That right there? Never thought I'd be in this place, but I'm so happy that I am.
Hello, everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in.
So, yeah, that's pretty much it. We talked, like I said, I've been in the same sex, well, not relationship, excuse me. I was never like a girlfriend. But
really?
I participated.
You was never like a girlfriend?
No.
Well, you were a fiance, so how you not never a girlfriend?
That wasn't my fiance.
I wasn't trying to be funny. I was really
I'm being for real. I ain't never been a girlfriend. We was just doing the do.
So like let me ask you a question. Do you feel like just doing the do is a lesser sin than actually being in a full-fledged relationship?
No. I didn't see myself as like being in a relationship for a long time. I cannot see myself being in a relationship like, yeah, I got a girlfriend. Like, that wasn't me. That I wasn't signing up for that. But we could
Do y'all feel like just having sexual encounters with the same sex is the different sin than having a full on relationship? What do y'all think out there? Everybody that's watching.
When you look at that, do that tell things of people
That's who's watching.
Yeah, I know that. I'm saying, like, see, look at all of that. I missed all of them. So how can you see if somebody's saying something?
They haven't said anything yet.
Oh,
They just
good
been
day.
telling you who's
Okay.
watching.
Okay.
I was supposed to be asking you something from what you said about you and my mom. Man.
My mom?
Yeah, you had said something. I had a question. And I lost it again. I know what I'm gonna ask you. So it don't have nothing to do with your mama though.
Mm.
You know, I love Mama Core. What now that you've actually gotten your feet wet and getting more comfortable in front of the camera, actually speaking out and using your voice more from where you were when you first started doing the Chance of Rain, or any type of anything, like, do you feel like, what do you feel like, where do you feel like God is kind of pulling you, or guiding you to do? A sin is a sin. It doesn't matter if it's a girl on girl or guy and girl.
That's true.
That's true, Laura. That's true. I just know that some people feel like, yeah, but you was all the way in there. You was eating, she was eating, and y'all was living, and y'all was shacking. So it's real.
People feel like it's levels, but sin is sin, right?
Yeah.
It is what it is. You can't judge somebody for their sin when you got your sin. It's all the
same. What do you feel like? For me, I'm gonna do like this. For me, I know that He is going to make me a teacher, a mentor, a big sister, a big brother, whatever.
Like, what do I think?
Yeah, hold on. I'm getting there. So I believe He's going to use something like this because I know that you and I have talked about not having to be. I'll say paraphrasing. We're gonna be church without walls. We're gonna be ministering without having to actually go into the building if you don't feel comfortable going into the building. Like if we do have a building, whenever God gets us to that point, I know I want my building to be like Pastor Keon and Pastor Todd building. I want you to be able to. It doesn't have to be that big. I just want you to be able to come in and in the shape that you're in the clothes that you have, in the on the level that you are, and be comfortable.
I was told that I would actually. This is before me and my mother actually became close. Mm-hmm. I had someone tell me that they saw me as having a ministry for women and like young adults, like teenagers. I don't know. I don't know what God is gonna do. What I say is this. I just tell God when I wake up in the morning and my eyes go, boop, I be like, thank you, Lord, for this day. Thanks for waking me up. And I know she was like, and whatever it is,
it's okay, Mama. Go back to
that you see fit for me to do, however it is that you want to use me, shoot, I'm ready. So whatever He tells me to do, that's what I do.
There is no level of sin, and they are all equal. Meaning, it's still a sin in God's eyes. They equal, but I think for me, just my opinion, I think them 10 Commandments have a little bit more of a oomph to it than the regular. But I mean, I could be wrong, but that's just how I feel. So how long have we been doing this? We've been doing this.
We said 50-something minutes.
You need to talk to me after this. We have a nonprofit, Girls to Mom. Okay. Okay, cousin.
That was Yeah, that's what I was told that I would do. I don't know if that's what I'm gonna do, but I mean, I participated in a lot of things like volunteer work with like Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America. I participated in a lot of different things, and I know that children are really close to my heart. Like, I love the kids, so I don't know. I don't know these things.
Do you ever feel like God connecting us to each other was a mistake?
I don't think anything is a no.
Do you
I believe that
understand?
everything.
Do you have you gotten the revelation of why He actually connected us to each other? Do you think you still would have gotten to this place that you are in your relationship and your walk with God had you not been friends with me, sisters with me?
Um, I'm gonna say yes because I believe that if it was supposed to happen, it was gonna happen.
Good answer.
Um, I just believe that God puts people strategically, places people in your life for reasons. So, um, I do believe that you had a very big impact on me going the path that I chose because I was able to ask questions and bounce things off of you that it was, it's different like when I talk to my mama because like she your mama, so she gonna always tell you, but it's different when you're talking to someone that's in your age group that you can relate to that has experienced some of the same things that you know what I'm saying? So I never felt like if it was something that I didn't know, like I would call you and ask you, I'm sure, some of the dumbest questions ever. Like,
actually, you always ask good questions.
I would, if it was something I didn't know, I would be like, hey, so what does it mean? I would just ask all kinds of questions. And you was never like, oh, why are you asking me all these questions? Or why you don't know that? Or it wasn't like that. So it really honestly just started off as just having conversations about stuff. Like just little stuff.
So tell me this: what's some advice that you would give me now that I'm on this part? That's not cool. She got a stupid. Let me see.
What would I do?
We work with young ladies in high school whom are mothers. We need those who have stories to tell how they overcome their roadblocks in life. Okay.
Now I did. Speaking of that, I did pray and ask God to let me be able to reach people through my poetry. I wanted to be able.
She's talking about the young girls that became mothers in high school, so they need to hear internal revenue and across the bell.
I want to, because I write. I want, how each person, when they say if you stay in your lane, you never have no competition. That's what I do. I write. But I want to be able to tell my testimony in the form of poetry. And I prayed about that. And I've asked that I'm able to reach people through what I write. Because when I write stuff,
I'm sorry, y'all. I looked at she's got the playback on her phone from the first hour of a channel. I was really jamming to Rain Down on Me.
Oh, because I thought that was you right now. I hope it's something like that. That would be really cool if I could do something with my poetry.
I could see that. That would be great. I could see you having like this ministry just for poets and stuff like that. Who
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I could know what I mean, but not just for them, but I mean a safe zone for them to come. Because some of them were looked upon as or looked down on, like just a ragamuffin that just spit words and spit fire, and they don't have exactly the same type of what's the word I'm looking for ambiance when it comes down to religion or righteousness or spirituality, or just have a no judgment zone that they can go to and just ask questions. Um, she said awesome.
It's
What
raining.
was I gonna say? I asked you. So, what do you think is some advice that you put on your COO hat and tell me what you think some advice for me would be when it comes down to me taking this next level up
For the business.
for the ministry, the just the ministry part of it. What do you think that? What would be some advice that you would give me?
So.
It's gonna be good.
Okay.
She's speechless. That's rare that she's speechless when you ask her a good question.
So I would say that you're gonna have to live what you preaching. You're gonna have to. So
That's where focus came from. Yeah.
I don't necessarily
For y'all that don't know,
mean that you be focused on.
that's true. The name of the ministry is called Focus Life. I have a tendency of my mind goes in so many different colorful throw places. So God was telling me in my prayer time that if I stay focused on what He has in store for me, and I follow His direct path and plan, that I'll never have to go through some of the things that I was asking Him to shield me from or save me from. So that's where Focus Life came from. And Chance and I were having a random conversation about something. I kept saying, I'm focused, man. And she was like, yeah, we could say something. I'm like, yeah, I'm focused, yeah. I think we were watching a series or something, a Pastor Todd series, I think, and that's where that came from. So that I received that. What else?
Oh, my bad, I'm back. I would say that yes, I definitely gotta get focused. I would tell you to continue to write like you've been doing.
Right,
What you're saying, your vision for what you want it to be.
I did that already.
And no, I'm saying to continue to write what you want, what you see, because when you get ready to do the next steps, that's where that's gonna come into play. Like kind of like a business plan, so that you can have everything that you need. That's where I got stuck. Is I kept saying, well, I don't have the money to do this, or I don't have the money to, I don't have the money to get the name registered. I don't have the money to open up this or do. I don't have a building. I don't have this. So I would say, don't let those things stop your vision to continue to write out exactly what you want, what you see, and just be prepared. Because as long as you're prepared like that, when the opportunity presents itself, you will.
Cousin, don't tell her that because that's some stuff she like to do. She likes some vision boards, but I might have to bite that. I might have to do that, cousin. I've never done one in my adult life. I did one in school because I had a class that we had to do it.
That Hector, that song.
That's why I said for not to say that because that's something that you like. Yeah.
That's what I got. That's how I got that on my wall in there, and that was something that a person's advice that I took that said the same. I dropped this pen.
Somebody want to see you and they want to talk to you.
That said, get you a vision board. Somebody told me that, and I just started writing everything down because I know what I see and hear. But if you actually meet someone that has the potential to make because God will place people in your life. So if you don't have it only in here and they can't read it or see what you see in here, You can't just have them here. So that's one of the things I started typing stuff out, printing up different kinds of papers. Like I would say do that. Definitely do that. Continue to do that. And I believe that if you, as long as you're taking the steps to do what you can do, I feel like God will provide the rest.
Let me ask you this question, and we're gonna have to end it. We've been on here almost 2 hours, y'all. But this is when we get together and like the anointing really comes sit on our lap. For some strange reason, I think one time we had it 4 hours. The last time we had a real good conversation like this,
I don't even think nobody saw that.
Yes, I know a lot of people that told me they did.
Oh.
Yeah, it lasted like 4 hours. So let me ask you this: what would you say?
I almost missed my whole bottom lip.
No, ma'am, that's not me. This work.
It would have been all down my. Ooh, that was wrong.
What would you say? 5 things that makes me listen. 5 things that makes me different from other people that you have come in contact with when it comes to, like you said, it was easy for you to ask me questions. But what will be the 5 top things that made me different for somebody that was in the position that you in when we first came in contact with each other? You first start, like, asking me questions and stuff like that. That made it easy for you to trust me to do that.
I would say one would be that I didn't feel judged. Mm-hmm. So that's the biggest one. I didn't feel judged at all. You knew what you were talking about, but you didn't. I didn't feel like you were like throwing God at me. Mm-hmm. Like, shut up, just do it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like it wasn't like that. It was. I feel like you listened to the questions that I asked you. You prayed about how you were supposed to answer them before you answered them. When it was something that you didn't know, you weren't afraid to say, I don't know that. Or, you would give me suggestions of things to do. You were relatable. You talked to me on my level. So it wasn't like you made me feel stupid or for not knowing, or I was always like, it was more of a, like you actually felt like, oh, I really got somebody that like I could talk to about this. And we would just talk about all kinds of stuff for like a long time. And it didn't have to be one specific topic. Like anything that I talked about, you weren't afraid to be transparent and share, where you have been, or it was more like it wasn't really it wasn't a church like a building, but it was like if you would be going in to go to counseling somewhere, and you would be sitting down talking to a counselor, except it didn't feel like a counselor. It just felt like I'm talking to my friend that we just talking. But I didn't have those kinds of friends that I could talk to about that. You were really like, as far as my friends are concerned, you're not the only one. Don't want to tell that lie. But before I dedicated my life to God, I'll say that you were the only person that I had those conversations with. As far as the type of conversations that you and I had, because pretty much everyone else that I was talking to was in the same boat that I was in. So they weren't like saved or rededicating their life to God or none of those. Everybody was just as lost, as confused as I was. So when we would talk to each other, but nobody had no answers. We would be like, well, I don't understand. Well, maybe, do you think? So it was different.
Okay. Good stuff. I want to say, oh, girl.
That's why I said,
girl.
Don't be over the crying.
Nah, if I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna cry right.
I know, that's why I'm teasing.
She's like, I don't want to cry like I was earlier. I don't want to cry.
No, I want to say, because I was like, that's it's it's so amazing that was the perception that you got, because that's what God told me was one of my gifts. Like that, I was that type of person, and that's why He allowed me to go through some of the things that I went through, so that I would be able to, be okay, and somebody would be okay with me getting on their level. Like if I was like Pastor Keon step on my toes, we'd be like, really, bro.
You know how you.
But I know,
right.
because I know you just keeping it true. But really, bro, like so.
But you got to consider too that I didn't know. Well, we had a whole bunch of time before that, where we talked about
just how all I was parallel.
Man, just plethora of things and it just kind of one day, I don't even know how the conversation.
You was like, I want to ask you a question, and please don't think I'm. If I can remember this, it was like, I want to ask you a question, and I was like, okay. And when you asked me the question, I was like, did you just ask me that? Really, God? That's what I know. That's what you told me I was supposed to do, but really, we done talked about this two-shot John and what. So
we be talking. We had conversations about everything under the sun before we ever had like a real conversation about God. Mm-hmm. So that was just another avenue that opened up a whole nother realm of our friendship. You know what I'm saying? Because then we started talking about like our life stories, the things that happened to us, how like it was different. Like it kind of shifted. You know what I'm saying? Because before that, it was kind of like.
But it shifted so. I feel like for me, it shifted so much. Even though I knew what God showed me about our connection, it shifted so seamlessly that I didn't even realize it shifted until it was like, did you realize that and he just weird. Like, I remember that. So, okay. This part is going to probably make me cry. If you had to, okay, I'm kind of put it. I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of how to put this question.
Spit it out.
If you had to tell our viewers, assuming hypothetically that they might not know me that well, they could just be somebody that I know from a trail ride, or they could be somebody that's coming from your side of the world that's getting introduced to us together as co-pilots and co-founders of everything Focus Life, right? Mm-hmm. Or Chance of Rank. So how would you, if you had to, say for instance you have a girlfriend that I've never met, but she's going through something, and or you feel like I got the perfect person that you need to speak to, what would you say would be your pitch to them about who I am that could help them? And tell me why you would say that.
I don't know if I necessarily have a pitch.
No, I'm just being pitched, but like say for instance, I'm gonna do it like this. I would say like a lot of times when I tell people who you are, I first of all you're always the best friend. Oh, my sister, to whoever it is, whatever. But I'll say, she is so much like me, but yet so different. For some reason, God placed her in my life, and our lives just happen to be so parallel. And then once God showed me that I was supposed to be her spiritual big sister, it didn't feel awkward for me because we had already had this foundation of just tomfoolery and fun and laughter and just whatever, to where it just made it easy. But she has this, that, and the third. I'm not gonna tell you what I said because you'll find it out later one day when you ask.
She said one day later when you ask.
But yeah, that's what I mean. Like, okay, and the reason why I'm asking you this is because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not afraid of these next upcoming. Well, yeah, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm not afraid. Like, it's a cockroach in there. No, I'm not like that. I am. Even though I've had the conversations with my circle, my square, my triangle about this next movement that God has me going on, this next car on the train of this journey. Um, I still have moments of kind of like Moses, like, okay, God, what I'm supposed to say, what I was gonna do, I gotta go to school, type of moment, like, am I gonna go for it or not, or am I gonna? But I know, I know I'm gonna go, but I guess I would ask you if, like, when you brought me to a lighthouse and you taught me about Pastor Ken and the lighthouse, just like you had this. Let me tell you what I stumbled upon. It's that new gonna get you right where you need to be. And I was like, oh, I want to go. So
that was different.
Why?
Because it's different because that's something that you already had I see this mosquito. I'm sorry.
I was wondering what that was. Okay, go ahead.
I want to kill it so bad because I know it's gonna bite me later. And I keep seeing it flying around, and I just want to. Okay, I've been trying to kill it since last night. That is different because that's something that to me, you already had a thirst for. It's not like you were new to your faith, so I don't feel like like when they say go make disciples. Mm-hmm. I don't have to teach you anything. I don't have to persuade you to go to church. I don't have to I just be like, most of the time you be like, is we going to Bible study on Tuesday? Did you go to church on Sunday?
Okay, so what I'm saying to you is if you was talking to somebody okay.
But I'm saying it's different for you because I don't have to do no extra. I don't have to say, there's this church and I go to this church and I ain't got to think up nothing extravagant to try to get you to go. Do you get what I'm saying?
But I want you to tell me, okay, exactly. I'm not saying some people in your life that know about how we get down or whatever, the conversations that we have on the Chance of Rain are going to be okay with it. But, okay, I love you, cousin. But if you were talking, say for instance, we having Bible study. We're gonna start having our first virtual Bible study, right? Mm-hmm. And you have to get somebody to come and be okay with me teaching them anything that they want to know when it comes on to the Bible, right? What would you say you would tell them about me as the teacher in the Bible study?
Pretty much the same thing that I just said. I would say.
There you are.
Because that it would be exactly the same. It would be, if it's something that I can get them to do, then I would tell them that if they had any questions, feel free to ask any questions. That she's not gonna make you feel stupid. She's not gonna make you feel dumb. No question is a dumb question. You can ask her anything, talk to her about anything. It would be the same exact thing that I just said.
Do you think that us starting with a Chance to Rain is going to be easy for us to use it to get people to?
I mean, I don't know how many people actually watch this.
People that watch it,
but I'm saying I don't know.
Have you ever looked back and looked at the numbers of views we had?
Not after like a long period of like maybe the day or the next day I might be like, oh, okay, 11 people watched it. But when you think like in a big realm of things. I don't know who watches it and who don't, so I don't know who it actually reaches. For me, if it reaches one person,
I like that
I'm
too.
okay with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I said it. What's that? Did she?
It sounds like she opened the door, but I don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see how long we've been on here.
5 hours. No, I'm just joking.
We've been on this one an hour, so we have 2 hours and 15 minutes. You have any final thoughts? How do you feel like this conversation that we had today played out and was different from the other one?
I don't know, because I don't ever like it. I don't like doing, you know how I am about it.
To me, you look really, really comfortable today, and you had to go up into your gut and pull out all your stuff. And you did it, and I moved away from you. You'd be like, where you going? Don't run.
She said, where you going?
That's how you normally be. Where you going? You just going to the back. Okay. But today you was like, let me tell y'all. Let me just get in, y'all.
Because I was prepared for. I already knew you was gonna do it. I knew you was gonna do it.
No, I really didn't know that. But when I got over there, it was like the Holy Ghost said, just tell her she in the zone.
You like to send me out all the time. She can send me out. She know I don't like me.
That's not true, y'all. Let me set her up. But I didn't do this. I followed what the anointing said. Because she was in the zone. Let me tell y'all, this is what she did. Let me tell y'all something. I had another time. So I was like, I'm eating some snacks. I can't talk with snacks on my phone.
Not I'm eating snacks.
But anyway, yeah, what's your I'm really happy to have my co-host here. I really am. I know that like I told y'all, she been having some stuff that she kind of spoke on some of her stuff. She probably told some of her business. But she's been working on her poetry. She's been doing a lot of different.
Got a new piece.
Yeah, she's been doing a lot of little stuff. Hopefully one day I hope we can do the across the bear for everybody, or make a recording of it that we both are okay with.
You talking about the song version?
Oh yes.
No,
the song version.
You be better off getting me to do the poem version than you do the song version.
Even if they don't see your face, you still wouldn't want to do it?
No, not yet. I'm not ready for the song version.
Oh Lord, that girl does.
I'm not ready for the song version.
No, I'm just kidding. That's fine. But yeah, God's been helping her to hone her craft of her poetry and stuff like that. And y'all already know he been working on me to do this ministry stuff. And I ain't gonna lie, I was hoping he was gonna pass me by. I was hoping he was gonna let that stuff pass. But that's not how any of this works. Yeah,
because you got me on camera. I'll be liking to be on this side.
First of all, I need to let people need to understand, I did not do this. This was all what God showed me. So I just had to go with what God showed me. So therefore, God got you right in check.
This was you.
What she mean by that is this is what God had given me a few years before she even came around, and then dang. She's sleeping so good. She got one foot up in the cage and getting toe. Anyway, sorry, we got some fur babies over here. But anyway, so yeah, we're gonna get ready to get up off of here. Thank everybody that came in and stepped in and whatever in. And if you still have questions that you want to ask that you didn't get a chance to ask because maybe you were at work, or maybe you're taking care of the children, or maybe you were cooking or whatever. You can leave the questions for us, and we'll try our best to answer them. Probably maybe tomorrow we can answer them if we have some questions that come in.
Depends on how they send. They got both our pages.
Yeah, I know.
Or the actual.
When the live is on, so they can send them on the live, or you can send them on the live, or you can send them on one of our pages or whatever. Focus Life, Chance of Rain, Chance or Chantera's page. Rain Truth page, one of them. So yeah, you can see. I have put it right there because it was up here. It's in your way. Put over. It's in your space.
I was like, get off my arm.
It's in your space. Go ahead. What's your
these big WWEs.
what's your closing thoughts?
I asked you a question earlier, which was if you had to give somebody advice about being judged, what would it be? So that's what I'm gonna close out with. I just want anybody that might be a little nervous just to know that you don't have to compare yourself and that the only thing that you really have to do is take the first step and you're not required to be perfect. And to not really worry about what people are going to say because your happiness, the God is a relationship and you have to have your own relationship with God. You don't have to focus so much on the religion, like the denomination. That just focus on having a relationship with God and just being obedient to what He tells you to do. I think the biggest thing that I learned last week was slow obedience is disobedience.
Didn't he say that?
He was on my toes.
Didn't he teach that?
Tapping on them toes.
Won't
like,
he do it?
Hey girl, listen. So I would just say that if He tells you to do something, do it.
Amen.
Just don't be so afraid and think that you have to have everything figured out and everything has to be perfect, and that's not real.
Not at all.
So I really wouldn't worry about what anyone says, but it will happen. People will leave out of your life. It's gonna hurt. All of those things, but your life and your happiness, your salvation is the most important thing. That's what I'm going to end with. Them my 2 cents.
That's you
That's
should.
it.
That's all you need. For my closing part, I'm gonna say that I'm honored I'm shook, I am in shock still that God took this shattered, battered, abused, torn into pieces. Some say ratchet, some say loud, some say rude, some say bougie, some say proper, some say ghetto, some say weak, some say naive, fat girl, brown paper bag skin girl, nappy roots girl, that he took this girl that used to slide down the pole to make money, used to turn the bottle up and kill a gallon, that he took this girl and he decided to use me and call me and make me over to be used as a vessel for his glory and his if only y'all knew my whole story. If only y'all could understand just how hard of an uphill climb it has been to get to this point, and I still feel like I'm not worthy sometimes, most of the time. I'm just grateful for all the people that came on the line today. I think that today was the most interactive day that we've had. So I'm grateful that I didn't allow myself to say, "Nah, I'm not ready yet still," or I allow God to give me the strength to stop running because my spiritual mother told me the other day, even if just one person watches, you're not gonna start off with masses and masses of people. If one or two people are there, then thank God for that. So every last one of you all who, my cousin that talked, and Laura that talked, and um, all the people that watched, for my co-pilot, for my co-host, I thank God for her every day. Um, I actually almost allowed the enemy to separate me from her because I had got to a point to where I couldn't honor things that she had did for me because she does so selflessly for me time and time again. And in the midst of her not even having everything that she needed, she looked and seen my need not once but twice, umpteen thousand times. And I almost lost one of the closest people to me because of pride or because of shame. Um, because I was concerned about, you know, how she might have felt about the situation I was in. And sometimes you have to learn how to, even when you want to talk to your best friend or you want to talk to your mother or you want to talk to your husband, sometimes God only wants you to talk to him and only wants you to trust him with things. So, I'm grateful for my co-pilot when she can be here with me. I'm grateful to see how God is going to take our lives and change it into. And I need y'all to understand that Chance didn't ask, to be co-founder of Focus Life. She didn't even know that she was co-founder of Focus Life. She didn't ask to be COO of Focus Life. She didn't even know that I had made a decision. Um, it was what I had in my spirit, and then I took it to God in prayer, and then I gave it to her. Because whenever God gave me the solidified vision, He gave it to me with her, and she used her brain to come up with the logo and everything like that. She took just things that I was saying out of my mouth, and her spirit man produced what you will see on the t-shirts and on the koozies and the sunglasses and stuff like that. So um, you have to make sure that you give flowers and homage to the people that God places in your life, because it takes a strong person to be able to deal with me, in all of my bipolar crazy throwed off mean way, because I can be downright mean, I can be downright the witch with the capital B at times. um I have a tendency to isolate, to hide away, to fall off the face of the earth. I like to call it stay on the radar. And Chance and my sister Shawanda are probably the two females that God placed in my life that can, in a 8.9 seconds, tell, okay, something not right with her. So anyway, I just want to thank you for that, and I love you with every part of my being. I'm so excited about how God has taken you and transformed you and build you up, and I just know that soon, very soon, you are going to be, going so many different places with your gifts, and you are going to be touching so many beautiful children and elderly and people's lives, and um, I decree and declare that you will be able to do it with holy boldness. That soon He will rid that insecurity and fear and shame and shyness when it comes to your gifts out and let you walk boldly, in his light and stand tall and all that oomph that you got whenever you being petty. So yeah, that's I see that in the very near future. And so you all know that I am going to go as hard as I can for Focus Life like I do with everything else I do and have done. I am real about my spirituality. I have always been real about God and who God is and who Jesus is and who the Holy Ghost is in my life. Please do not get it twisted. No, I'm not perfect. No, he is not done with me yet. Yes, I still use colorful words, but I am trying to start to allow him to help me walk out, talk out, live out, and be about who he is sending me to be and wanting me to be and wanting me to do. So, Focus Life is real. And it's out there, and I'm not taking it back. I've come too far with God to turn around now, and He didn't give me the spirit of fear, but of love and of power and a sound mind. And He gave me one of the best minds that I know, and I'm not just tooting my own horn. I've heard this from my parents most of my life. I would be a liar if I said I'm not nervous. I would be a liar if I said I had it all figured out because I don't. And this mushy person that God making me to be, I don't know if I'm here for it, but I just gotta keep it real,
I don't know if I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm not really here for that
She wanted me to be crying earlier.
Yeah, I'm not really here for that emotional stuff he be having me doing, but I love God and with everything I have in me, I have to be transparent. That's who he made me. That's how I show my love to people that I care about is being real with them and not sugarcoating it and not hiding it. And yeah, that's it. So for me, that's all I got to say about it.
Y'all pray that this pimple go down. Okay.
I told her to put some ear wax on it. She don't. Put some toothpaste on it.
I might try. I'm not putting.
Just put a little bit of Dot toothpaste. Hey Pat. So if y'all have any questions, please feel free to leave us questions. We will post a full, complete, almost 3 hour long conversation. You can go back and watch it in segments. Or you can watch it in the 2 parts on Facebook Live. We will be posting it on YouTube. We will get it down pat to where we go back to our, what it used to be, an hour or 30 minutes.
It was never 30 minutes.
I know, but what we were initially shooting for when we used to do our first Chance of Rain,
it was between an hour and a half.
Yeah, so we're gonna try to get it back to that. But whenever we get together and it just seems like we just to us it'd be like we're having, like she said, we're having, like friend conversations, like sister conversations, and it just the anointing gets in the middle and it just takes it over. So thank you all for our viewers, even if you just peep your head in and left. Thank you for that. Thank you for the support that you have been giving me, Chance and I, for almost a year, Chance. Almost a year. I need to go back and look at our first video because remember I was in Lafayette and I almost looked 6 months when I left from Lafayette. Remember? So it might be a year already. I'm gonna go back and look on there and maybe we'll do an anniversary. Yeah, we'll do an anniversary.
We can do the dance video
for the anniversary. For the anniversary.
I want
This girl that got hooked on that never would have made it the twerk edition
challenge. Papa never would have made it challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenge, y'all. I don't know, but
that's what they call it on the thing. You ain't seen all the people that do
on TikTok?
Yeah, this was before TikTok. This was on. They were doing it they have like a whole video segment of just all the people who've done the video. The challenge.
I just seen somebody send me a video when they say when church opened back up and they had to never would have
That
made
came
it.
out way before that.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but
Yeah, it came out way
she
before
wants this challenge out, so I just know it.
With my kneecaps still.
You need to put some alleviate on there. Shout out to my niece Kiara, my sister Kenyatta, and Portia for hooking a sister up with these aids for my weight loss journey that I've been going on. So while I'm getting my spirit body in, when I get my spirit man in shape, I'm getting my physical man in shape too, and getting ready to turkey things and stuff. So yeah, I've been up all the way about my business and stuff like that. So I'm Rain, and I got my co-host Chance here. That girl say with the pimple. And this has been a candid conversation, sister to sister conversation with you all, where we gave you an opportunity to ask us questions about whatever questions that you might have about your spirituality. You could tell us information about if you got hurt by the church or what's keeping you from going into church. All kinds of and simple things, anything that you wanted to talk about or wanted to get some advice about. That's what we were on here for. We've been on here for almost 3 hours now. So I'm sure we're gonna be trying to find something to eat on here in a minute. I know I am.
I was just thinking about it.
I know I am. So we love y'all. You already know what it is, what it's hitting for. Deuce out the roof, love God, love each other, love yourself. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with God. Patience is a virtue. It's a reason why God has us still right now in the midst of this pandemic. It is time for us to be about our Father's business. God is tired of church folk playing church. You either get right or get all the way left. Stop straddling the fence. It's time for you to choose you this day whom you're going to serve. You're going to serve God or you're going to play with the devil. You can't do them both. So as for me and my house, we're gonna serve God. That don't mean I'm perfect. That don't mean I have it all figured out. But as for me and mine, we're gonna serve God. And if you want to be a part of mine and you don't want to serve God, then I'm sorry, boo boo. But all means I'm gonna have to chunk your deuce because you ain't gonna separate me from God. So we out. That's it. That's all I'm saying. I'll keep on going, and we'll be here all night.
Not all night.
And
she be here all night by her own.
No, I won't be sleeping. Okay, we love y'all. We gon' upload everything. Hello, everybody who's coming in. You can watch the replay unless you have something that you want to ask before we end. Better late than never. Any questions? Any comments? What?
What you do that? You probably gotta get that one, right? I don't know. Oh no! Wait, wrong one.
I slid it. Yeah, I slid it.
Oh, you gotta rotate. I don't know how yours works. Ain't you supposed to be able to touch something for the thing to come back up? Oh Lord, she didn't.
I slid it off, and it was supposed to.
I don't have no suggestions. I don't know how to work your phone.
Let's do it like this. But anybody have any questions before we hit the finish button? My phone is acting crazy. What's that?
Nothing.
Okay, y'all, we gone. Love y'all. We'll be out. Sorry, Facebook. Our live 21 comments. And I didn't even get to say. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm still going, huh?
What did you say?
Hey, that's my son.